Hey, what's up guys? We have a B10 from Zenith. Normally it has these little rings here, but they were a little too sharp for me, so I filed them down. It's an inexpensive brush, so no harm done really. I'm gonna stick it back. It's been soaking now for 15 minutes or so. And it's a boar brush, so we definitely do need to soak it for at least 3 or 4 minutes prior to the shave. All right, we're going to use the same razor as the last few days. This is a Karve Christopher Bradley razor. I've hand polished the top cap and a couple of other parts to it, but otherwise the base plates, for one, are the original bead blasted finish, and this is a B plate, the B open comb. The razor the razor blade we're going to put in it is this, a Personna 74. It's a vintage blade that a kind viewer sent me, and I'm privileged to be able to try it out. It's been doing really well in several of my razors. It's been a while since I've used it, and so I wanted to put a nice blade in the Bradley razor today. Chris Bradley. That's the name of the two people who kind of designed the razor. Chris is the owner of the company, and he did most of the work, but either the guy who got him started in everything or helped him with the design, there's some kind of interaction, so he used Bradley for that name of that individual, and so that's why it's kind of a long named razor. CB, we can also call it that. The soap for today, I decided to use something I haven't used in a very long time. I love bases like Barrister and Man, Holy Cow, Noble Otter, Declaration Grooming, Sterling. I've been using Prix de Provence 63 the last few days. I'm doing some usage testing on that one because that represents a potential high value for your money. Lots of shaves per dollar that you're going to spend with that guy. But today, it's all about the Colonel. Dun, dun, dun. The Colonel Conk, also represents pretty good savings because, as I recall, this 3 1/4 ounce puck, it's just a few dollars, and you can get all like 4 different ones for not very much money. Kind of the cost of one, kind of nice crope. These are glycerin soaps, so there's a little bit of a difference, but often a glycerin soap will give you a nice, slick soap to enjoy, slick lather. So that's what we're going to do. I haven't used it in a while. I microwaved it in a normal bowl. You know how it comes in those plastic, things. I lifted off the tab there, popped it out of the plastic, microwaved it just enough to pour in here, and there were still some chunks, but that's cool, because if a big chunk falls in and it gets covered over by the other liquidy stuff, then you get this, and it looks fine. So it has dried a little bit when I first poured it in there. See, there was none of this gap over here, so it has lost a little bit of moisture over a couple of years. Got this cool container. It's a ceramic or porcelain or whatever it is. Off eBay. Looks pretty cool. Never had a chance to use this yet, so I believe I've used the almond once or twice, but I haven't had a chance to use this container. I'm going to load it for a nice long time because I don't care. Let's get my face wet. I've showed you all the products. Yep, sure have. All right, let's start loading this guy up. So this will be my 21st use probably of this brush. And as I told you recently, I shake a lot of the water out. Let's just load, 50 seconds rolls around there. So if I'm going to lather for, let's just say 50 seconds. So we'll go to 40 on the next minute. All just doing smaller soak times now, that all the boars that are in my kind of borathon, where I'm growing them up all together, and they're all at roughly about 20 shaves. So it's neat to contrast them. If boars change so much as they break in that you just can't compare them unless they're kind of all at the same age. And even then, comparisons aren't super fruitful, because really what matters with a boar, and I'm almost done here, 3 more seconds. What really matters with a boar is, got a little boar bristle there. Get rid of that guy, come on now, there we go. What really matters with the boar is how it ends up. And so if a boar takes 4 months to get fully broken in and amazingly soft and tips split and all the right things, and another one takes twice that long, then that's good enough. I mean, to me at least it is. And I can already tell this is a slick soap. Going to give me some nice slick lather. It would be a neat thing to see how many shaves a puck of Colonel Conk would give you. I like the bay rum okay. It's not too spicy. It doesn't have too much clove. You know, those types of harsher scents. With the 4 that I bought a long time ago off Amazon, you got the amber, lime, bay rum, and almond. So those are the ones I have. All right. And I just don't use them. All right. Roger Quintero Lather Bowl, 3D printable. If you have a 3D printer, then get on the description of this video and you'll see a link to the files if you want to print it up. This is the extra large version. Many people scoff at Colonel Conk. Kind of a joke among some people. However, it's a glycerin soap, and the Dollar Pears glycerin soap that I have gotten and tested at the Dollar Tree gives crazy slick lathers. And so even though it's been so long since I've used this, I'm kind of expecting something like that. This one is, as you can see by the container, it doesn't really have a cap, and so it has been sitting open, though it's not in a super it's a word for when you have lots of airflow. Well, it hasn't been in a big airflow area. Yeah, see, look at that. Lather's looking great. 2 teaspoons in it now. So I decided to take a little break from the Prix de Provence 63, because I've been interested in shaving with Colonel Conk for a few weeks now. Yeah, see, that lather is looking great already. I mean, just look at that. Sure, it's got some bubbles in it right now, but we just started. So I wanted to interrupt the Prix de Provence experiments and usage with working on the Colonel. Maybe just one shave, who knows. Anyway, I said that the tub was underneath my bed and it was open, and so I don't expect it to be a strong scent because it's just been sitting open for 2 years. And yeah, we basically just get a soap scent here. Very little in terms of almond, but that's normal. I just going for the soap base. Looks great so far. It's given me a fairly high structure soap. You know, it's holding its weight really easy. You can see the hills and valleys and ridges and things like that. And let's feel the lather, see what kind of slickness we get. Nice. Very nice for an inexpensive soap. And then when you put water to it, it gets really slick. When you go to rinse it off your fingers before it totally leaves your finger, the slickness is just crazy. I'm going to refill my syringe and add just half a teaspoon. Let's just rehydrate this guy just a little bit more. Sometimes an extra half teaspoon, an extra teaspoon will make all the difference. It will all of a sudden switch the lather into its ultra creamy state. So sometimes it just takes playing around with a base. If you're new, don't play around with soap bases too much. It's so tempting because we have so many great options. But if you're new to shaving, new to getting your lathers straight, stick with, one or two soap bases and just work them over and over and over, because your skills will increase faster. Then you got plenty of time to branch out later. I mean, you'll be shaving for the rest of your life, right? And this lather looks good. Yeah, look at that. We've increased in quantity quite a bit. It's still fairly together. Oh, look at that nice long peak. Now, see how there was a long peak, but then the clod that dropped down was actually kind of round and solid. So it doesn't look like it was all that uniform in terms of the water. So I'm just going to mix for a little bit longer because we don't want the wet spots in one area and drier parts in other areas. We want a nice even mix. Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful, there's no shame in this guy right here. Matter of fact, for the cost, it's looking really good. And I'm gonna, oh yeah, see, we got the kind of a flexible peak there, a little bit, looking good. All right, let's use it. So let's show you the final condition of the lather. Visually, it looks like maybe it needs a little bit more water. You can see it looks a little rough. See, we've got some points and things like that. Now it is kind of moving and not really, it had a nice long-ish stretch. So, this might be exactly right. This might have a creamy feel, things like that. Let's just see how the fingers perceive it. Oh yeah, that is nice, man. There are definitely some $13, $14 soaps that don't feel this good, that don't feel this slick. And this is a $3 soap. All right, splash my face with water. Of course, you're not going to get the sophistication of the scents with Colonel Conk. Although Colonel Conk does have a series, there's the basic line with amber, lime, bay rum, and almond. But then they also have like a desert Sierra or, sienna, or they're doing something else. I don't quite know what that line means. Someday I might try some of that. I mean, it's not going to cost too much, right? All right. So we've got a boar brush that's been soaked for a nice long time, relatively speaking. This traditionally has been a really enjoyable brush to use. A little bit more density than the Smogs that I have, but nice and comfy as still. So 50 seconds was the load. Probably get away with 40 or something like that. So since it's the first pass, let's keep working our lather. See how it feels here. Yeah, that's slick. That's a good performance soap, folks. There's no shame in the kernel. Come on. This is a fine soap. I'm sure you're going to get more sophisticated scents when you pay $20 for a tub. So you can pick whatever you feel like doing. But if your budget's low, I think the Colonel Conk and his choices are a very valid and enjoyable option. All right. Yeah, the lather feels great on the face. Creamy. Looks like 2.5 teaspoons is the lather the amount of water I put in the lather. All right. What's a fly doing in here? This is the dead of winter. Maybe he's getting it. Yeah, well, this is a great blade for this razor. I do have a normal 24-hour growth right now, but it is just slicing through it effortlessly. You hear a little bit of cutting, but you kind of don't feel it. Get my towel here. And wonderful thing when you have a razor that does so well on the first pass. You know that the future passes, the second and the third, are going to be crazy good. Because the first one is the harsh one usually. And rinse time. What? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that cheek spot. It's just kind of residue. All right, so this looks like I nailed the lather. In terms of seeking a lather that has a kind of a luxurious, creamy type feel. You do see a few of those little micro bubbles, but you don't feel them, and that's the most important thing to me. You know, you rub this lather between your fingers and you just feel the slickness. Brush has, the tips aren't super soft. I've been kind of using my Badgers lately, and so I am feeling these tips here, but they are, it's a nice massagey feel, and this is definitely not one that has had a lot of them to split yet. So future softness is coming. It's not floppy. Some of my Smogs, I think, are in danger of maybe becoming too floppy as they keep opening up and softening and things like that. I don't think this guy's headed that way. I think he might be one of my favorites. All right. I guess this is now my second pass. And super, super smooth. So this is a vintage tungsten blade from Personna. Definitely have seen people who have enjoyed this blade seek them out on eBay and even want to pay higher prices for them because they haven't been produced in a long time. But I'm sure there are a ton of them out there still, just because blades. Some people still want to shave with them. I think some of the word is many people use them to go long, give a nice long shave. So I went ahead and pre-wrote an M on this blade for marathon. Yeah, skin's still feeling good. I think this is pretty much the perfect lather. It looks like maybe it's luxurious and thick, but I think you're going to need to not put quite as much water in it if you want that. But the rinses feel great. The slickness is there. The feel is terrific with the lather. Protection is good because of that slickness. And I do remember liking the scent when I first got the puck, and so it does have scent in it. It just sat out too long. Third pass, and this is a great razor to enjoy this B open comb. The Pole Silver, I guess, has too many uses on it. Had like 23 uses on it the other day to be quite this buttery smooth. And then the blade I also tried was the Blue Diamond from Supermax, and while it was a young blade, it's just not as nice. For me, at least. Excellent. Excellent. Happy camper. It's a nice shaven soap. Oh, that area right here looks really... Oh, let me focus. Looks pretty good. Yep. I'll be back. Thought just popped into my head that if there are poor college kids out there, or just people that are running into hard times where they can't afford a lot of money for shaving soap, they really want to have inexpensive stuff that feels good, hopefully smells good, lasts a long time, then this is a pretty good soap. And I am interested in seeing how many uses, how many passes I can get with Colonel Conk, because then that'll really help to be able to see how long, because I think that's its goal, is the value soap category. So it'll be neat to see how many uses we could get out of it. That a person who would have the money to buy this kind of soap, and they just enjoy it. It's great. It performs really well. The slickness I got was tremendous. I mean, sure, it doesn't have lotions and butters built into it to help you post-shave, but buy a Balm at Walmart. They're $5 for the Nivea, and it works pretty well. You can do that if you want, or if you like the alcohol splashes, then you're already well prepared for that with this soap. But something that hit me, I tried a sample of Gentleman's Nod recently, and its lather, while it may have some post-shave attributes built into it, the slickness of the lather, the viscosity and the feel of Colonel Conk easily beat out the sample of Vincent of Gentleman's Nod that I was provided. It was very generous of a viewer to provide it for me. But it didn't really brag it didn't really hold its own. And Gentleman's Knot is an above $20 soap. I think it's 25, maybe even $27. Now, the scent on my sample was not very strong, and so I think that's what's gonna matter with Gentleman's Knot. Do you want to pay $27 for a tub with a sophisticated, really nice scent? Because I'm sure if you looked in their collection, you could find one that you enjoyed. I'm sure they all aren't weak like I had. Maybe the sample I had was had spent too much time in the air. I don't know how that pans out, but you know, the strong suit of the Gentleman's Knot is going to be the scent. But in terms of performance, putting the scent aside, it's an easy choice. I'd go with Colonel Conk every single time. $3.50 instead of $25 easily. So how about that? So we've done 3 passes. My little trouble spot here looks awesome. My face feels really good. Here's some of that Conk Lather. Let's just kind of see how it feels. Yeah, the slickness is there. It is. There's nothing fancy. You know, glycerin soaps aren't as sophisticated as the hot process soaps and stuff. But this is definitely better than some of the vegan options out there that you're going to pay a lot more for. Go Conk. How about that? Really slick. Just terrific. In terms of performance, definitely bats above its pay grade, in my opinion. So it may not have the big scent, the sophisticated scents. It may not have the aftershave qualities of folks who have maybe dry skin might want, but I think it would fit a lot of people just fine if they give it a chance, if they felt like it. So I'm going to give the Gentleman's Nod to the Conk. How about that? All right, now how much, obviously you saw how much lather I took out and showed you in my hand. And we have, how much other lather do we have? Look how good that looks. So yeah, I do need to run this one a little drier than I might think. Although I'm sure he would take water pretty well. But I could probably work out two passes. So 5 total passes from 50 seconds of loading. Not bad, not bad. All right, I'm gonna clean up now. Oh, and 2.5 teaspoons of water, 50 seconds of loading, 5 passes. Well, I bought an inexpensive lot of products to get a couple of neat things, like that Russian cream I used a few weeks ago, and a Palmolive cream I think that I used, and the Nivea Deep post shave. Well, here's something from Power Stick. I think I may have seen this at the Dollar Tree. So let's give it a try. It is kind of thickish, almost feels like suntan lotion. Maybe even a little thicker than that. Almost turning kind of a dry pasty. It looks like maybe it's got a little bit of menthol in it. Because I am feeling the cooling. Almost like a mintiness to it that kind of makes me think I just put a bunch of toothpaste on my face. So let's see, hydrates, calms, and repairs with aloe and vitamin E. Looks like with this one, I would want to have my face to be a little wet when I use it. a ton of ingredients. So it's probably very manufactured, that sort of thing. But jojoba oil, I see that. Yeah, aloe leaf juice, berea seed oil, sweet almond oil, peppermint. Yep, I smell the peppermint. And nothing else that I recognize as being a good skin food thing. All right, well, not bad. Yeah, peppermint. It is a peppermint balm, kind of thick, so I would be sure to sprinkle my face with some water. Probably do a decent job of hydrating and all that. Okay. Now, there are some people out there who have 3D printed and created designs for the tops of some of these all vintage containers, like the Old Spice cups, that sort of thing. Well, this is the plastic lid from the top of a Chips Ahoy 3.5 ounce maybe container cup of kind of a travel to go tiny mini Chips Ahoy's cookies, and it just happens to be pretty much a perfect fit. It does wiggle maybe 2 millimeters, but I think that's pretty much a perfect fit. This does a pretty good job on the top of my my Old Spice cup as well. A little bit more play with that one, but it's pretty much so I'm gonna go buy another thing of cookies and get another lid, if you don't want to pay the money for Frugal Shave or somebody like that to print you up something. Wanted to show you the marathon notation on this blade. The M I put on there, just in case years down the road you are researching my shaves just to see if the crazy number I've posted has the same writing on the blade. And I do like to take my razor apart and just set it on the towel, and I dab off water droplets like that. I do have hard water, so that probably helps to decrease buildup. All right, well, there we are, folks. That was a good shave. Oh man, the razor and the blade were a terrific combination. Just smooth, cut real easy. I think maybe it's use number 5 or 6 with that Personna 74 Tungsten. The soap, the lather was terrific. Like I said, not really any post-shave qualities to help your skin out after the fact, but this soap's been around for a long time, long before this post-shave stuff was starting to get tied up into the soap realm. And so it just did great. And I expected the scent not to be there because it'd been sitting out for so long. Brush did well, though not quite as soft as I remember. But I've been using my soft badgers lately, and so that probably has something to do with it. A little too much luxury for my face lately, I think. But the tips are going to keep splitting, and that'll be good. All right, and it was good to try that Power Stick balm paste, if you will. I do kind of have almost a tacky feeling, so that'll probably get absorbed into I don't think I like that too much, even if it wasn't. I threw it away because it was peppermint scented, and I don't do that. But even so, I might pass on it just because I've got other balms and stuff, and they're probably a little nicer. All right. Well, I'm happy with that one. Nice close shave, and fun playing around with. Who knew? I mean, this is going to come to a surprise for a lot of people who hear people talking about Colonel Conk and assume it's just junk soap, and it's not. There are definitely other soaps out there. I'd say this performs better than Perazzo in my book. There are Perazzo fanatics that think it's the best thing and will fight you if you tell them otherwise. To me, the slickness I just got, beats Perazzo easily. The feel there beats it. It's just slicker. So and then like I said, there are some $15, $17 soaps out there that aren't as slick as what I just used, the Conk. All right, well, hey, I'm pooped. It's time to go to bed, time to go to sleep. So this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. I sure hope there was something here for you, helped you out in today's shave. Take care. Good night.